Am I lined up good?
Yep, you're good. Let's go. Loquacious Libations is kind of loud.
Pre-recorded.
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 But not in front of a studio audience.
No. Well, we do have a studio audience of one.
Of one, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, plus, you know, when I go back and do a little production, I might pipe in some laughter right there at that line.
Yeah, there you go. That works. That works. Hey, for those of you that don't know, we've been having just the most ridiculous amount of technical problems for the last month.
Yep.
So we decided to go old school or old-fashioned and do it the way that we had been doing it for almost half a year, 3/4 of a year before we started doing lives.
Right.
So we're pre-recording this, and in celebration of that, we're having an old-fashioned tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's.
And in the old days, we used to use just one phone before we started using the little production box. So that's the main way we're doing the old-fashioned version there. A little upgrade to it though, because you know, like I said, we're actually producing it. The only one I've ever pre-recorded and produced was the week you were on vacation. When we did the
God, that was almost a year ago.
Yeah, when we did the double in 1 week.
Yeah.
And then I produced it and put it up the next week at 8:30. So this is our first time doing that since then. So that's a little old-fashioned too.
Yeah, that was back in July.
Yeah,
so
sure was.
All right, well, here let's
jump in.
The old-fashioned is one of the easiest drinks you'll ever make. It's one of the tastiest drinks you'll ever make. I'm not going to go through the history. You can go back and look at our old-fashioned video from about 6 months ago.
Right, and I'll even
give you
tag
the history.
that stuff for you guys.
Yeah,
in this
there
too,
you go.
let you know.
So here, just to let you know, I'm a nonconformist. I prefer a lemon in my old-fashioned. I know it's supposed to be made with an orange. Don't blast me for it. Okay, that's just the taste profile that I prefer. I do like, it's nothing wrong with an orange. When I go out and order an old-fashioned, I expect to get an orange. Because if I tell the bartender I'd like a lemon rather than an orange, they look at me like I'm from the insane asylum.
Right.
So, all right, to start, I've already put 2 big rocks in our old-fashioned glasses, and this is the simplest drink that you'll ever make.
Yep.
What I do, though, a little different, is I take a chunk of the citrus you're going to use, whether it's lemon, lime, orange would be the tradition.
Right.
And I just drop it in. I don't squeeze it. I don't mull it. It just brings a little flavor to it.
Mullet. I used to have one of those.
Yeah, you did. And it's pretty simple. It's
Now I don't have anything.
Now here, if you're really doing a traditional old-fashioned, you'd have a sugar cube.
Right.
And you'd put that in there, you'd put the bitters in the sugar cube, and you'd mull that. And then put your citrus in your whiskey.
I think the first time you did the old-fashioned, before we did the series, when we did just the one off of it, I remember you doing that.
I did do that.
Yep.
Because that's the traditional way it was made, but it's much easier if you just use simple syrup, 1-to-1 simple syrup, which is what we're going to do tonight. And it's about 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. If you like it sweeter, put a little more in. If you like it not so sweet, put a little less in. That's really just kind of a preference.
Yep.
4 dashes of Angostura bitters. Get the Ango. This is the bitters to use in an old-fashioned, period.
I need to go get me some Angostura just I have here. For Manhattans, too, you know.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heavy on that. But that's what makes the flavor just... The flavor combination between the Angostura and the bourbon is... And we're doing a bourbon old-fashioned, just so you know. And
using tonight?
We haven't brought this one. If you see this bottle, when you walk in the store, just buy it. It's a liter. It's usually between $17 and $21. And this one...
But just as good a value proposition as the benchmark.
Absolutely. I mean, when we did the Bottled and Bond challenge in that price category, this one and that one, we were talking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth which one we liked. Yeah. We couldn't really decide. We both picked the benchmark because I think the butterscotch flavor, but you cannot go wrong.
Right.
You know, and like I said, especially if you see this under $20, buy every bottle they have.
Yes.
So 2 ounces of bourbon. And then you put ice and stir and rock and roll.
We like rock and roll around here.
Yeah, we do. Hey, did you see my my post today on the art? Best rock art.
Ah, no, I missed that one.
Well, our best rock logo.
All right, let's see. Let me go to your page here. Is it something you reposted?
Might have been a reply.
Okay.
Then you just stir. Stir. Give it a good stir too. Good, at least 30 seconds. So you get some good dilution in there.
Dude, you posted a lot today.
Yeah, I was busy. I was a busy boy. It's funny. You start posting a bunch of stuff or replying to a
I
bunch of
can't find
stuff,
it right off.
and then you start getting
This stuff like you
the
got.
stuff like I got.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, here, like, a couple of things from last week when we were posting what we were doing last week when we went to the recorded show. We had some single women just like it out of nowhere that don't follow us or anything, but
Oh, I forgot the cherries.
oh, damn. I've got the cheap ones in there.
It really needs it. Let's
All right,
get
hang on.
let's get that.
We can run down to Bourbon Bar and they've got them.
Yeah, normally, of course, I you put a maraschino cherry in here, which I always say Luxardo cherries. We've shown that many times on a lot of our videos, and I just completely forgot to bring them.
Tonight we
But
have the bright red
we-
Southeastern Essentials.
We're saving grace. We still have some maraschino cherries.
And this is the kind that I bought for our very first drink. So we are really going old fashioned here.
There you go,
the-
sir.
for the
That's a
original-
pretty drink, though.
Yeah,
No
it
matter
is.
how you cut it, it's a pretty drink. Whether you use lemon or lime, it's a pretty
Here,
drink.
I'll bring it right up here. I'll even come around here so I can make sure I'm getting a good view of it. There we go. That is a very pretty drink.
And it just tastes great. I mean, I don't care how you cut it. It tastes great.
Yeah. And again, Wendy Malurzo, thank you for the wonderful old fashioned
Oh, yeah,
glasses. that
man.
we're
These
using.
are really nice glasses, Wendy.
But, so I noticed something on one of them today. The ball is silver in one of them
And black in the other.
in the other one.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I had not noticed that before at all because at first I was like, "Is there a leak? Is it getting corroded or something?" And no, it's actually black. So attention to detail, very cool. They have another series.
Yeah, my anal ass. Of course, I'm going to notice something like that.
Well, I just noticed it today for the first time myself. I've had them for what, 6 months, 7 months.
At least.
So while he's doing that, I'll go ahead and give you guys our socials.
Yeah, we need to post all that stuff. The other thing that we need to do, we should do a poll. Should we do a Rumble channel?
There you go. There you
I
go.
think we should.
Now I already know one person that's going to say yes because he's been pushing us to do it already. Is,
Yeah.
Mr. Bill.
Yeah, I know.
So we're going to explore that. Matter of fact, once we break out tonight, we're going to go over some of that kind of stuff too. But in the meantime, you can find us on Facebook at Loquacious Libations. Also on YouTube at Loquacious Libations. Instagram is Loquacious_Libations.
Which that's my responsibility, and I suck at it.
And X, which we both kind of done a little bit, is at Loquacious Live. I wonder if we should do at Loquacious Not So Live. Temporarily at least, because you can change that stuff. But Loquacious Libations is too long. I tried that one to start out with. There's too many characters for X.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to the
The
old-fashioned.
lemon old fashioned. Oh yeah,
I don't care how you
Very
cut
nice.
it. That's a tasty drink.
that is.
That will always be a tasty drink. It's not harsh.
Right.
It's well balanced with the sweet and the bitters.
The bitters and I was just about to say that the bitters and the sweet really offset each other nicely at the same time.
It smooths the drink out.
The bitters makes it where it's not so cloying having the sweet.
Correct. It doesn't.
Right.
It's too sweet.
Right.
But
honestly,
then
the Grocktail was a little sweet.
it was
a very tasty.
It was a
drink.
lot sweet.
Yeah.
It was a tasty drink, but it was a lot sweet.
Maybe 4 dashes of the orange bitters next time.
Maybe. Yeah. Next year.
Next year.
So
we're gonna do a Grocktail.
You know what? This bourbon too is just got such a nice profile. It's got that lots of caramel flavor, vanilla and caramel.
Yep. As opposed to the butterscotch of the benchmark. Sure enough. Yeah, that was number 2 in our round 1 bottle and bond series.
And we just, we probably took 5 minutes going back and forth, sipping between those two to say, because it was so close. It could have gone, it really could have gone either way.
Right.
So, well, should we get straight into the craziness roundup?
Sure, yeah.
There's so much material to cover in reality.
Grief. Well, here, like I was saying earlier, back for the last 4 years, we've looked at the weekends as he's going to be on vacation, nothing's going to happen.
And nothing did happen.
And nothing did happen because he was sitting on the beach. Well, now we have somebody
wondering where he was.
Which I want to cover part of that as the craziness roundup too. The stuff that I sent you this afternoon.
That's why I mentioned it.
But going back to this, now we get somebody in that same office who is so active that not only can the news media not keep up with him, but the normal news consumer is having a hard time keeping up with him.
Well, that post that I made today really outlines, and we didn't. One of the things that I have started doing now is when I post, I will always include it in the Loquacious Libations Live or Loquacious Live posts and repost.
And you're right. We need to cross post all this stuff to Facebook and YouTube.
I'm sure there's a way to share. There's probably a fucking app that you could get post to all my stuff.
You know what? Canva might be able to help me with that. I'll have to see what happens with that. I'll mess around with it and see.
Because
I have to build it in different formats. You send me the stuff, me build it, and something like that. I don't know. That takes a little extra time, but.
Or we just research it. There's got to be a plug and play thing for
There's got to be, yeah. Which, speaking of that, we do.
If there isn't, there's some fucking guy out there right now going, "Oh, I can write that app. Give me 20 minutes."
Contact us. We do have some stuff lined up for future though that we're talking about too. That's going to be pretty cool if we can pull it all off.
Yeah,
but anyway, the speed of Trump.
Oh, I said it earlier before recording. I basically said in 4 months, because it's kind of been 4 months since he's been in office, not quite yet, but 4 months, he's gotten more accomplished than Biden did in his 4 years by a mile. Biden could have been in for 8 years, and he wouldn't have gotten this much accomplished. I'll just go to that post.
Here, I've got it right here for you.
Okay, read it.
So let's see, where was I? Because I had it right here, and now it disappeared. Hang on. I had moved off of it for a second, and I thought I could get right back to it. Stand by. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Laurel and Hardy. All right, so first, I got to say, I love this. Winning. Let me know if you get tired.
Oh, yeah. That's why I pinned that post.
Yep. So, let's see. The 4 things here. The Sage's post actually reads, ushering in the golden age. Those of you that hate Trump don't realize you're fighting against your own best interest. The number 47 administration has accomplished more in 4
weeks.
4 weeks. 4 months, excuse me.
Oh, 4 months.
Than Biden did in 4 years. We'll cover this more and,
tonight.
But
then I give you a laundry list.
Just the 4 days here. Brokered peace between nuclear rivals India and Pakistan. Signed a historic executive order to crush big pharma, cutting drug prices by up to 90%. By the way, I think that was the big announcement.
Well, and people don't realize that is.
That's
Let's
huge.
go ahead
Yeah.
because I'll just make a
The
statement
other
and come
two
back to it.
bullet points here: closed trade deals with China, the UK, and the Arab world. And number 4, secured a $600 billion Saudi investment. So, that's just amazing stuff. Locked in a $142 billion defense deal, delivered a victory speech in Riyadh that torched globalism, humiliated neocons, and praised regional sovereignty like never before.
Yeah. Here, what we're seeing, and people don't realize really what's going on.
Yep.
Okay, and we've talked about it on the outside, kind of. But there's legislation that was signed a long time ago. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
By a president that I actually kind of like because I got to meet him.
Right.
I mean, he's a piece of shit, but I liked him when he was in office.
Right.
That it does a significant amount of things, and it's never been enacted into law. Congress has never pushed it through. Okay, so what's happening though is what you're seeing.
Switch up.
What you're seeing right now is the dismantling of the old system, piece by piece. It's how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Yep. Okay, and big pharma's. Did you notice what happened to the pharmaceutical stocks?
I hadn't actually looked at the stocks.
They look like a plane with no wings. Yeah. Because here, people don't realize about 70%, roughly 70% of their profit is derived here in this country.
In the U.S., right. Well, it's because all these other countries are going, well, here's what I'll pay you for it. They're dictating their own price. And that's essentially what Trump did with that
Said
executive
you're going to
Look,
work whatever the lowest price is.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to.
We are your most favored nation because you're home here. Yeah. So that should considerably help a good many of us on that front. Here, when I first had my heart attack, and you can relate to this too, the medicine that I was on was $1,000
a month.
A month.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean when I hear this kills me. It shows you how fucked up the whole system is, though, too. Mm-hmm. And I think you'll remember this because when I was in the hospital, my initial hospital, they bring you stuff in little cups, okay, and you're supposed to take it,
right?
Okay. Well, one day I just noticed I started counting, like, oh, there's a cup, 1, 2, 3. Well, here's another cup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's fucking 9.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another cup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 14.
14 pills.
No. Here's another cup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 19 pills.
And that was daily?
Daily. 19.
Of course, you were pretty far down, too.
I was. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on just a
Yeah,
second. Sorry.
we can cut and.
Yeah, we can cut and everything. But I don't think we'll bother with that.
Well, we won't cut that out. You'll improve the video, Betty. Yeah, you will.
You're unlocked, bud. I probably won't even cut that. That's not serious enough to cut.
Yeah, I know. But here, what I did then the next day, the nurses got mad at me. I told one of them to go fuck herself. And that got the doctor in my room real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but
that'll do it.
They brought me the first cup, and I was like, okay, just you can leave it on the thing. We'll get to it. and then she brought in the same nurse, brought in another one. She's like, you didn't take your first ones. I said, yeah, I know. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Just put it on the table. Then another nurse came in, a young girl, very pretty girl. She came in. She's like, you're not taking your meds. Why? I said, I'm waiting for the doctor to come because you're feeding me 19 meds and I don't need 19. Oh, yes, you do. The doctor prescribed these 19 things for you. I
Well,
said,
he can
go.
come-
And I didn't blink. I said, go fuck yourself. Put it on the thing.
Right.
Oh, the doctor was there within 5 minutes.
I bet.
You know, because, I mean, they think you're being aggressive.
Right. Right.
I'm like,
in which
no,
case
no,
you're
no, no. I'm
you're
not being aggressive.
You're being a little defensive, actually.
I'm being an
Yeah.
advocate for myself.
Absolutely.
But what was interesting is then I pointed out, I said, you know, because the doctor and I mean, we're still, I mean, he fucking, like you are also.
Yeah.
It's like,
you develop a relationship with the guy that saved your life.
and, well, and not only that, but in both of our cases, the chances they gave us were slim to none.
Yeah.
And yet here we are, fully brain functional. Well, that's debatable.
That's debatable, yeah.
But, you know, and
I'm definitely different.
fuck it.
Fuck it.
Did we go over fuck it last week?
A little bit.
Okay, well,
They'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, I know. So,
It could be one
anyways,
of those running tease themes.
the next day, that 19 was down to 6.
Amazing.
Because I was like, you know, you're giving me this to counteract that, which counteracts this. How about get rid of all of it?
Right.
And so he sat down. I said, listen, I'm not taking all this shit.
Right.
And today, what do I take? Nothing.
He's on no meds, including blood thinners.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Now,
And
I'm still on 5 a day.
Nothing. But you could get off of it. I have told you this for years now.
We may be discussing that part soon with, other visits that I've got to make. I'm getting sick of some of this.
I mean, here
Anyway.
it's here. Listen, one of the things I didn't just go cold turkey though.
Right.
It took me a lot of time and
Adjusting diet and exercise and all that too.
well, and here's what I did.
And finding
Yeah, alternatives because
alternatives, yeah.
fortunately, one of the classes that was really interesting to me in high school was chemistry. So I understood how to do, there's a lot of algebra, for those of you that understand chemistry, there's a lot of algebra to figure out, to figure out equivalence. Okay, so I started figuring out, okay, what does this really do?
how much
What is it
of this?
activating in my system?
Right.
What does it do for me? And how much of this do I have to take to substitute for that? Well, there's some things that you sit there and you do the math and you just start laughing.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, I'd have to eat 6 pounds of this stuff,
Right.
which would cost
To
me
make that work.
$700 a day.
Right.
You know, in order to get the equivalent benefit, and there's no way you can eat 6 pounds of this hay. So, but eventually, I mean, it took me 6 months,
Right.
and I weaned myself off
Off of pharmaceuticals
of
altogether.
all the pharmaceuticals, and I mean,
Now, you do take like supplements and things like
I
that.
do take supplements. Okay,
And I've actually picked up a couple of the supplements that he's
yeah, no, I
mentioned
mean,
too, and that's
because you know there's certain things like both of us are hypertensive.
yeah.
In other words, we have naturally occurring high blood pressure.
Right. Here's the funny part. Up until my heart attack, mine was usually low. It was naturally occurring low for most of my life up until I became hypertensive.
Well, I found a substitute from Ayurvedic, which is Indian
Right.
medicine, that cost me $9 a month, and I don't have to take it every day.
I need to look into that with you then.
Yeah, it's called Mukhtavadi, and it works like a
yeah.
fucking charm.
I get my lisinopril at Publix, so you know how that goes. It's really cheap, but
Yeah.
so what? It's getting off of
Well,
something like that. Yeah.
and here I'm not going to tell everybody to just run off and try to figure this out for
And
yourself.
this wouldn't work for everybody.
Correct. It doesn't. Like I've tried. My dad has actually, because he is on. The doctors are retiring off his fucking blood chemistry.
Pills, right.
But he's actually, believe it or not, listened to me a couple of times and tried to okay, well, let me try that. But the problem with my dad is he's 91, and teaching an old dog new tricks is
Almost impossible at that age.
if he was 41, it was impossible. So
Right.
now it's beyond impossible.
Yeah. My grandmother who almost made it to 90, I get that.
And he's ornery, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
That's a tangent. That's a bad tangent. Let's stay away from that.
Well, here, let's get back to the craziness a little bit.
Yes.
Your next post that you shared with me, and I missed totally until just a few minutes before we hit the record button.
Oh.
Over here.
Oh yeah. That you know what? All roads lead to Rome. That's kind of was my post that I said.
I'll let you actually cover that one.
Yeah. No. This is This post, I basically said this post is the most difficult red pill to swallow, and it really is, because when you start to wake up, if for those of you that don't even know what the fuck I'm talking
It's
about,
not woke.
It's not woke.
Being awake.
It's just coming to realize that what 8 years ago, what people were talking about, that the news is fake news. It is. It's all fake.
Yeah.
It's
watching a movie.
It's scripted. Okay, and if you're not awake to that, and how controlled society is, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it.
Right.
And
this started as far back as when I was in high school. Because here, the county that I lived in Georgia, we had a case where there was a lawsuit based on the prayer before a football game. 1988, 89, somewhere around in there. And it was national. It got national attention right after that. But that was one of the first of those separation of church and state at a school.
and just
thing.
a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
Well,
But anyway, it's all led to this kind of thing.
it's all led to this, and what's interesting now is,
And of course, the displays it.
well, here, it's going to be, there's somebody that 17 guy said it's going to be biblical.
17th week of the administration.
17th week of the administration
With all
right now,
this
and all of a
happening?
sudden,
Oh,
all this
excuse me,
shit's
sorry.
happening.
Anyway, continue on, sir.
Well, it's going to, and here, what I think we're kind of one of the things that's happening now is the wheat is getting separated from the chaff.
Did you say weed or wheat?
Wheat,
Oh, gotcha.
the weed, the flour is getting separated. But if you read this post, it is worth the few minutes. There's 3 posts that I really made that are worth. It'll take you a total of 15 minutes to just go through the stuff that I posted.
And this is on X, by the way.
And you
It's
will
at Loquacious Live.
you will start to maybe see the world differently if you don't already do. I mean, that's the only way to kind of put it. But there's a video up that I reposted, where it's a town hall meeting that is openly worshiping Satan
Yeah.
in their town hall meeting.
And that is no exaggeration, by the way.
It's videotaped. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you can't miss it.
Yeah.
So, I just, unfortunately, what I said, all roads lead to Rome. If you wake up, if you start to wake up and you find out about pharmaceuticals or whatever, and you jump into that rabbit hole, inevitably, if you follow that rabbit hole to its conclusion, you will end up right here. And it's a very ugly, disturbing ending to this whole thing, and it's not, the ending is not going to be for everybody, but it will be for you to decide if you want to know. And there's parts of it that I don't want to see because I know I can't unsee it. I've already
Right.
seen stuff that
That
I
you
can't
can't
unsee,
unsee, right.
and
Thank God
and
I never had to do that.
well, and I've seen stuff in real life
That's what I'm saying.
that I can't unsee, and it's horrific, and that's just war, and what we're talking about here is children. So I mean, and that's kind of where we're going. I hate to say it, but
Yep.
the pressure's building. It's going to come to a crescendo sometime this year.
Here, I'm going to dovetail that a little bit
Okay,
for the next item.
go right ahead.
Been
Yeah.
watching any of this stuff about the Diddy trial?
This is one of those drinks.
Oh,
It's like,
it's
fuck.
smooth.
It's not even. We're 25 minutes in, and it's not even. I'm almost done.
Yeah, and I'm sipping over here.
I know,
Even
I'm
though
just
it's
sipping,
frequently,
too.
but I'm sipping.
That's the problem. They will fuck you up because it's almost all booze. Because this has got some alcohol content to
Right.
it. That's what people don't realize.
Right.
So the only non-booze item is
the syrup.
The syrup.
Right. Well, I'm not going to complain if we maybe have another one after this, but I know I have to work tomorrow, though. We may not.
I have a couple friends that
My
will fucking-
dispatcher watches those, so she might appreciate
I have
it.
a couple friends that'll be like, "Wow, you're drinking all night."
If they only knew. Not really. Leave it to me to make the smart ass comment.
Of course, puts me right in jail too.
No, usually when we cut off the camera, we cut off the alcohol too, because
No, you know what?
I make sure that he is good to go home.
And we say this every week. We'll say it again this week. Hatter and I have one drink a week.
This one.
This one.
Might
That's
have
it.
another half or maybe even a second one
If
when we do it.
if we're feeling good, we had a good show or whatever, we might celebrate and have another one.
Yeah.
Or if we make one of those little cocktails, a lot of
Yeah.
times we'll have another one after the show.
Right. But and we'll reiterate this too, especially for those of you who might be new to us in the recording side, since we're going to be simulcasting to all three platforms tomorrow.
Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, and X. Hopefully, we'll all go live at 8:30 like we normally do.
Hopefully.
So all of our followers will have access to this one. But the point being is this show, if you're new to us, is not about this part of it. This is the opening content. This is what we do every week to open the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're more about the loquacious than we are the libations.
Yeah. It's
And
just really just
it's
in the description. Read the description.
Yeah, two friends getting together once a week to unwind and
bullshit and
run their mouths.
yeah. What do you think about this?
Right.
Now, of course, the topics that
Range.
have been are wide ranging, very eclectic.
here,
But
when we
in the
first
last
started-
4 months, we've really kind of talked a lot about politics.
Here, when we first started, we actually adhered to the rule:
No politics.
no politics, no religion.
Yeah.
Those normal drinking, stay away from. But we decided that some of this stuff is too important, and the stuff that's normally discussed in a bar anyway.
That's true. That's true.
The only difference is we don't have anybody with pink hair in here and a nose ring that might be getting pissed off at us and throwing shit at us.
But see, that would be a good guess.
Oh, that would be great TV too.
Well, but
Because
not only
technically
that, but
it's updated, but this is still TV.
But here, that's true. But what would be interesting is to have somebody like that, just to have an actual conversation.
Oh yeah, a debate
And-
online. Yeah.
Well, and not
Or
maybe not so much just not a debate, but a conversation
Correct.
to have
Yeah,
an
that's
understanding, and maybe they'll get an understanding of the flip side.
right. It's not understanding from the point of changing anyone's mind, but to get a more level position on where the person stands and
Well, and here's
what they mean by that. In other words, bring the civility back to this kind of conversation.
Well, Correct. That's the problem that's been lost. And it is. It's the people that we were just talking about. The oldest part of their playbook is divide and conquer.
Oh yeah.
And they've done a very effective job at that. This country is very divided, is very brainwashed. There's so many people that can't see the forest through the trees.
Then you got look what they're doing, and
don't look at me.
don't look at me. Look what they're doing over there. When you're doing the same damn thing that you're accusing them of, and they're not even the ones doing it.
Right.
So yeah, that's all out of the main playbook. But anyway, we decided that we were going to go more with being honest. Instead of avoiding those kinds of conversations, let's talk about this shit.
Absolutely.
In a civil way.
Well, it's funny too because we've seen our viewership
ramp since we did that.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that people necessarily agree with our points of view, but it at least makes them think.
Oh yeah,
that's what we want to do with it.
There's two kinds of responses I get because I inevitably tomorrow night,
right,
which will be Wednesday night when you're seeing this.
Here, experiment for you. Do you want to populate a live chat while one of the premieres is going on?
Well, we could do that.
You want to come over here for it, or do you want to do it from our respective positions?
I could come over. I have no problem with that. I got no plans. So
okay. So I'll tell you what. We'll set up 3 devices. We'll have
I'll bring my laptop. I'll remember to bring my laptop tomorrow.
We'll do Facebook, YouTube, and X. And as long as our premieres go on time, we should have a live chat in each of those that we can sit here and monitor and actually interact.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Okay.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, just that was another one of the...
Hey, that's how this all started. Because old Hatter over there reached up his ass and said, "Hey, we should just do this live.
Go live. Let's go live.
Let's record this.
Hey, look what I just did to my dining room. Let's go live." That's basically what it was right there.
You're right. Let's record it. Let's put it on YouTube. Let's put it on Facebook. That's what it was. I want to post this on Facebook.
We've actually had quite a journey in this year. Because we started out on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And Buck came in here with us, our original first guest.
Bastard.
He's been on a couple of times. And then we moved over to YouTube and did pretty good over there for a while. And then had some censorship problems.
Then
right. And at
somebody
this point,
put their thumb on the scale.
What are we saying about the censorship at this point? Fuck it.
Yeah.
If you guys throttle us, you throttle us. We're
not going to shut up.
Right. We're not going to shut up. We've got our base audience. Hopefully we'll get a little word of mouth and other people will get in on this too and have some fun by broadcasting to all 3 at one time.
What's really interesting is
eventually we'll get back to doing that live too. That's part of
what's interesting about it though is right when we were starting to get the momentum on X,
it's when
they throttled us.
Well, I don't know if it's
they throttled us, but let's just say the universe
we've
throttled
been
us.
Throttled. Let's put it that way. You know what? Experiment.
You want to try to go live right now?
No. I want to see the speed test right now.
Oh,
at this time of night,
because that's one of the things we've been doing. I'll cover it.
Yeah.
While you do that, we've noticed we would do a speed test on Wednesday nights about 5 minutes prior to us going live. Now, Hatter runs fiber here at his
should
house.
Be 5 gigabytes.
So he was getting, prior to us broadcasting, 1.5 gigabytes up and down.
On the device we're recording with that phone right there.
Okay, so we were like, okay, we're good. As soon as we would start recording, we'd be 300, 400, which is what we just got.
So it is a time of night type thing, possibly. Because we're not live, so there's no way they would be throttling us because we're on.
Correct, we're not on.
Right. Okay. I'll talk to IQ about this. IQ Fiber, by the way, out of Jacksonville. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, I mean...
Because I was getting better service from Cox in that regard.
And we were getting better bandwidth.
This tells me this is the root of the problem.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
And I know I haven't called them yet, but that's...
One of the things I've learned about Hatter, now we've known each other for a long fucking
Bill's
time.
Bill's going to love the hell out of this part. because he understands.
I have. You know those like when somebody walks in the clean room and they put those latex shit over their feet. I put a latex boot on and I shove it up his ass. And
Really
then
far.
maybe
That's why he puts the boot
about a
on.
month later, I pull it out because he finally does what he's supposed to, what he says he's going to do.
I have issues. I'm sorry, but
Procrastination.
yeah. Bill says I'm an excuse guy.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
No,
the funny thing is, I
you know,
always preface it, I got no excuse for it, but
no, here, should I tell you why? Because you haven't fully adapted the fuck it mentality.
right.
Because you get anxious for no reason. I used to. I'm telling
Dude,
you.
I'm a lot better than I was for a little
Oh,
while. You know that.
yes, 100%. But in here,
I had a couple of really rough years.
yeah, like 2.5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Very rough years.
yeah. You did.
But yeah.
I mean,
I came out of it though.
fuck it.
Fuck it.
That okay. About 2 weeks ago now, I was stressing about something we won't
An
talk
issue,
about
right.
on air. And finally it dawned on me. Why am I stressing about this? Fuck it. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what the future holds.
Right.
None of us do.
Let
So
things play.
why oh, whatever happens, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm still going to be okay.
Yeah.
We always are. We always
are.
land on our feet.
Dude, we fucking survived heart attacks and we're still here.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's just and I don't know if she watches, but there's a really wonderful young lady, single mom in Atlanta that's a realtor.
My old stomping ground.
Yes, that I've talked to
Is she old
across.
enough to remember 96 Rock?
I don't exactly know how old she is, but I would
Gotcha.
guess she's in her 30s.
And then it's questionable because they shut down in 2006.
Oh, she'd probably remember that then.
She'd be 9 years old.
Uh,
8, something like that.
I was listening to rock and roll when I was that age.
I was listening to 96 Rock when I was that age.
It's because our parents.
That's right. We both had kind of cool parents.
Yes
Well,
and no.
mine more than yours.
Yes. Well, I had one very cool parent, my mom, who's no longer with us.
Yep.
And she dragged my dad along.
Here. In honor of Mother's Day.
But you know what? Here, I got to give my parents credit though, because my parents and my aunt and uncle took me and my cousin, who is 5 months younger than me, in 1969, which I was 6 years old.
Year I was born.
They drove across halfway, well, a third of the way across the country to this little shindig called Woodstock, and I had no fucking clue what the fuck we were.
Holy shit, dude.
So
Okay, well that does not top my 6-year-old concert. For damn sure. But
Well-
still, very very cool though. My mom took me to David Bowie
I always
in
thought
1976.
sleeping in the back here. My uncle had a station wagon, so we got to sleep in the way back.
Oh, dude, that's
We
awesome.
thought it was the coolest goddamn thing ever.
Hell yeah, that was better than the RV because it was flat.
Fuck.
I have a cousin. We used to, when we would do road trips in the station wagon, we would sit in the back and quote watch for crashes. So we would watch out that back window. Now, the station wagon we had did not have the rumble seat.
Well,
And it just shows you the times. Too.
Yeah.
The kids were loose in the cargo area.
No seat belts, no nothing.
We were
and
on our knees.
You're
looking out
sitting
the back
there looking
window.
out the window, and a truck comes by, and every once in a while you'd get one honk.
Or if it wasn't the station wagon, it was the back of a fucking open pickup truck.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. And who got to sit on the wheel? when there was three of us and there was only 2 wheels.
which was the best seat.
Oh, yeah. You felt like a damn dog hanging your head out the window. You know?
And the cops wouldn't pull you over either because that was
Oh, hell
normal.
no. Yeah. This was, okay, seatbelts were a thing, but they were not required yet at that point.
Nobody wore a
Ralph Nader was all over the Corvair. But
nobody wore a seatbelt
dating
until
ourselves
when? 1990s?
yeah. Oh, yeah, and a cop tried to pull me over in the 1990s because I didn't have a seatbelt on. Turned out he couldn't see it for my long hair. Because I had my seatbelt on, brother.
Fucking
Long hair in West Georgia at that time, you knew to wear your fucking seatbelt at all times.
Oh, I bet.
Because Earl Lee had just gotten out of office there.
Oh,
Do you remember that name at all?
no, but I'm guessing.
Sheriff Earl Lee of Douglas County, Georgia, was involved with a GBI agent and a certain criminal by the name of John Paul Knowles.
Okay.
Serial killer.
Sounds about par for the course.
Serial killer. There are some that say that Buford T. Justice
Was based on him?
Earl Lee.
Buford T.
Buford T. Justice. We're really aging ourselves tonight, aren't we, brother?
There ain't no way. There ain't no way you come from these lines. Oh, Jackie Gleason.
Now that's a little.
I think we talked about Jackie Gleason,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah, last week, actually.
Last week, okay. God bless Jackie Gleason.
God bless him, man. Him and Red Skelton both.
Oh,
There's another name
even
for
as
you.
a young kid, I appreciated the humor that Jackie Gleason brought forth. It was because I recognized when I got into high school, I'm like, oh, this is adult humor and kid humor
At the same time.
at the same time. And I think that's kind of where Mike Myers got that
There's some
idea.
underlying stuff in there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, Henny Youngman was another one. Except he was a little more.
He was a more one-liner kind of guy, too.
That's a couple of my granddaddy's favorites.
I believe that.
Yep.
Par for the course,
Yeah,
really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all about the nostalgia with my granddaddy specifically.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
I know.
Yeah, always have been.
Yep, I know.
He was one of the many good, positive role models that I had. You know,
Yeah.
so. I had some good Southern men that guided me.
Almost done.
Almost done. And, I have no idea what the time is on that because we didn't look at a watch.
Oh, I
before
have
we
no
started.
fucking clue either.
But fuck it. We're going to go as long as we normally would anyway. So.
Yeah.
I know we started after 8:30 and it's only 9:49.
We're probably right around an hour right now.
I'm going to look right quick just to see because it has a timer on it.
Okay. You can edit it out, too.
Yeah. Oh, we're only at 48 minutes.
Oh, okay. So we got
Sweet.
we got a few more. We got a few more minutes.
Well, plus we've gone as long as an hour 20
Yeah,
on multiple occasions.
that's true. That's true. Well,
What in the hell? I'm on the carpet
yo,
and the level at the same time.
see now you can tell the alcohol's starting to kick in on us. We're starting to laugh and bullshit about stuff
Right.
we normally don't talk about.
Well, see, we already did the one part bartending.
Yeah, and we're into the 2 parts bullshit.
Absolutely.
And I'm on my absolutely last sip.
I already hit the cherry, man.
Oh, there's something about hitting that cherry, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now, do these
Well, you notice about halfway through I had to skewer
do
it.
these suck up the alcohol like the other
Oh,
ones?
absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's
And
been
that
so
lemon-
long since I've had one of these.
That lemon will, too. That'll be good, even though that's really thin. Damn, that is. You did a good job on that, brother.
Yeah, I know. I got both of them pretty thin.
Yeah. Very nice.
Well, you want to extort that oil and the flavor out of that.
Absolutely.
All right.
So what else we got? We got anything else craziness, or you just want to freestyle for the rest of it?
Well, the other thing, because it's the third thing on the list, don't overlook that China deal.
Absolutely. I mean, here we went from 145% tariff versus 125
back and forth,
Right.
blowing up everything.
To a 30-10.
Yeah. So,
That's a win.
the other thing that's been interesting that I didn't post that I caught this week, there's a bunch of stuff coming out of China all of a sudden. And I have a contact in China that I've met on X, that I've had a conversation with, who's a pretty astute gentleman.
Right?
There's a lot of stuff coming out of China talking about the population collapse that has occurred in China already.
Collapse. Really?
That, yes, that the country most greatly affected by COVID was China.
That actually makes sense.
And I read a piece this week that basically was saying that the population of China has been so affected that we in the West sit there and think, oh, they have 1 billion plus people, when in fact, no, it's actually more like 400 million. And they're all in the cities. You go out to the small towns, and they're ghost towns. So, I have no way of verifying that.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I
mean, yeah, it's a movie. We don't know what the real story is over there. We get fed whatever we get fed by.
Was that lemon good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because
ABC, and yes, the alcohol is in there.
Oh, okay.
I could taste it.
Well, this has got such
drink in that.
This has got such a robust flavor.
Oh yeah, the old fashioned is now at least number 2 behind the Manhattan for me.
You're right.
And the Manhattan only because of the sentimentality of it. With my granddaddy.
I'll tell you what. Jack came over, my oldest son, came over the other day.
When are one of your boys going to get over here and get their asses on the show? I'm fixing to text both of y'all's asses.
I don't know. I'm not, I won't commit for them because they always...
Oh, they're like me?
And I hand them the Vagisil.
Okay, I'm not quite that bad.
Okay. So anyways, but he came over and he said, hey, I've been meaning to ask you to make me one of those black Manhattans.
Oh, hell yeah.
With the Averna.
Right.
So I made him one. He's like, I keep it in the refrigerator that's in my garage. He goes out and he looks at the bottle. He says, I'm buying one of these.
Hell yeah.
He's like, right away, he's like, this is actually better than a regular Manhattan. That was his opinion.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, don't.
Yeah, 61 half dozen. A little bit different here and there,
It's different, but yeah, maybe we'll do one of those next week. Yeah.
Is that one of mine?
Yeah, I put it on Do Not Disturb too, so
yep,
that wouldn't disturb us. Because I probably have, din-din-din. That's the ESPN.
The ESPN.
The Sports Center thing is my message alert. So,
all right. So U.S. China, we covered that one. What else we got? Anything else on the craziness list?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
I think I covered most of it.
I only had. There's just there are 4 gigantic posts. I'm like, oh my god, you could talk just for an hour on one of these posts.
Oh yeah. And we try not to do that, and that's kind of why we set out to do the no politics, no religion thing, and keep it back in those range. Bless you, sir. But keep it back in that range of what you normally do when you're drinking with friends, But like I said, there's just so much in the news, and
there's so much going on right now. It's almost impossible to keep up. Here, one thing we didn't,
and it's almost impossible not to at least talk about some of it here.
Well, and one of the things we didn't even talk about, and a lot of people don't even know this, when I mentioned it to somebody today, and they were like, I didn't hear that.
Right.
Tulsi Gabbard has sent over 2 referrals, a very high profile, according to Tulsi Gabbard, who did an interview with Megyn Kelly, very high profile Washington insiders, criminal referrals to the Attorney General. Who they are, we don't know.
We don't know yet.
We can speculate. Now, looking at the history and watching that conversation, I'm going to speculate that it was John Brennan and Adam Schiff, but I don't know. I have no clue.
Hannity probably got a fine the other day, by the way. For any of you who listen to conservative talk radio, Sean Hannity, which, by the way, is on a very cool trip with the president right now.
Yeah, 4 hours into the flight, he did his interview.
Oh, dude, that's just got to be an experience right there. That's never going to be topped for him. You know?
Well, it's
He's
not like
getting
he
to go
does.
to a freaking state dinner.
Well, yeah, no. You know who's been on?
Royalty.
You know who's been on Air Force One? Elizabeth,
Really?
many times.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But anyway, where was I headed with that exactly?
Talking about Hannity, the interview that he just did.
No, it was pre that a little bit.
Fuck if one of the things we didn't even talk about or didn't post this week was the referrals. Those 2 referrals. And
Yeah.
then,
The Tulsi thing was what set me on this, and I'm trying to get back to it. She made some firings today
oh, I didn't see that.
as well. Not Tulsi, excuse me, Noam.
Oh, Christy Nome.
Yeah. So there were some firings in the national security area today.
Of the DHS.
Right. So, God, I can't remember where I was going with that. Damn. That's what happens with our tangents, by the way, sometimes.
Yeah, we get off track.
We'll circle back. Tomorrow night in the live chat, I'll figure out what in the hell I was going for because I'll hear the first part of it and know where I was headed with it.
Yeah.
Thank you. What the hell?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter. This is one of the things that happens on X that I just don't get.
Right. Seriously, I just have it on the For You, and I'm like, where in the hell did that even come from? Because I'm not a member of anything like that. All right.
I don't get a lot of that stuff.
Right.
I really like.
We're putting the paddle waves to miss.
Yeah.
of a
Well,
distraction.
you know, kind of what I showed you before we started.
Right.
Why?
Where the hell?
Why?
I'm not looking at that kind of stuff. Why are you sending it to me?
Why?
Right.
What kind of a human being does that? I don't get it. I really,
Out of the blue. Random.
I really don't understand that.
Yeah.
I really don't. And for those, I mean, if you haven't figured it out,
OF site. Gotta be.
I had somebody that I don't know who they are. I've never seen them before. I don't know that they've existed until they sent me a message, and it was a picture of them topless. And I'm just like, what?
Sex bot.
Why? Why? I really don't get it. I mean, yes, you're probably right. It's somebody that's advertising that's you know.
Yeah. OnlyFans site, or is it even real? Is it
You
a
cast a
picture
net
that
and
an
you're going to
AI
catch some fish, I guess. I don't know.
Is it a picture that some AI threw out there for you?
It's a possibility. I don't know. I mean,
Because I heard you say the word tits on your phone when you were laying it down somewhere.
yeah, that's tits, man.
But
So bad. We're so bad.
we are. But seriously, where does this shit come from? Because it's not something you would normally go perusing or anything like that on X. Yeah, you know.
Well, it just I don't know. Maybe
There's
I'm
a disqualifier on X.
maybe I'm just being naive. I'm guessing I'm just being naive.
I really am just kidding around about this stuff. But
I
dude,
just
it's
don't
so
get it.
damn prevalent out there that it's crazy. Because here, I even said this before we went on the recording part of it. Last week, after we posted, okay, we can't go live. We're going to record tonight. We're going to post tomorrow. We had a couple of likes on those that made no sense whatsoever. Single young women that would have
just
no
can't-
interest in our show whatsoever.
Yeah,
just
that's
simply like the show.
That is not
Or
our
like the
that's
posts.
not our demographic.
Yeah, not our demographic.
Our
We were
demographic
talking
is most of the Marines that follow us.
Marines,
Rush fans.
Gen X rockers.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
Guys that
pretty
like
much,
weapons.
yeah.
I mean, that's our demographic.
Guys who talk politics, guys who don't shy away from that shit, but still can have a civil conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's basically what our demographic mostly is. But I hope that we're going to pick up a few extra rockers next year
I think we will.
because I'm going to start.
Yeah, no, he's going on a
figuring out a
cruise.
way to promote.
He's going on a cruise. It's the Creed cruise, and
Yep.
the
Summer
lineup
of
is
99
really,
and beyond.
really good. It should be a gas.
Here, the lineup,
Well, it's just going to change now.
the current lineup is listed as Creed, Three Doors Down, and Collective Soul for the main three. So normally those will play twice along the 4-night, 3-day cruise. And then you've got the secondary bands who are Filter, Blackstone Cherry, Living Color, Oleander, and there's a couple more that have been listed so far, but they're also saying that others will be coming on. And those
So, I mean,
usually
there'll
play
be
3
somebody
times,
playing live constantly.
24 hours a day.
Constantly.
I mean, if you want to stay up till 2 and 3 in the morning, you'll still be able to catch a fucking concert, no doubt. You know.
Yeah, so bring your cocaine.
No, we're heart attack survivors. We don't do that shit.
No, we don't.
We don't even think about that shit.
No. No.
No stimulants whatsoever.
That's a young man's game.
Yeah, caffeine, 1 cup of coffee a day, I'm good. You know.
Yeah, well, I do a pre-workout, and that kind of lights me up.
Yeah. Well, I also have my little additives that I do with my coffee, but we'll talk about that behind the scenes too.
Yeah,
But
I get it.
wait a minute. But
Stop.
anyway, yeah, my dispatcher might be watching.
You know what we need? You know what I thought of? You know what we need to do?
What's that?
We need to print out. I'll do
We
this.
need business cards.
Well, I was thinking 8x10 and print out all our social medias, but I think we're going to add a social media.
Oh yeah,
I
Rumble.
think we should. We should add
Yeah,
Rumble and
we're
just
going to
load
talk
to Rumble.
after we shut down here, and we're probably going to go ahead and at least look at and preliminary figure out what we need to do.
And
to
then
get
we'll
Rumble.
load up, and because we're gonna record for a little while until we figure the
2-3
rest of
weeks
the
at least, yeah.
shit out. And then if we had that, see, then we could just put it. Okay, here it is. Here's our go here if you want to see us.
What, on camera?
Yeah.
I got you covered.
See this production. See, I'm not thinking it's live.
Yeah, I got you covered on that.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll do us a splash screen for it,
Yeah, there. Cool.
especially for the recording side of it. You know.
Are you gonna?
I actually already got one.
Play us out?
You know what? I hadn't even thought about that. Let's check and make sure we're on the Bluetooth over there, because right now I just had that up.
I know. I like what you had up before more.
Yeah, but we couldn't show that on there.
I'm not shy. We could have shown that on there. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, but we're not going to.
It wasn't actual nudity. It actually was not. It was just suggestive.
It was
Bluetooth
a very
not
attractive young lady.
connected. Okay, there we go. I just hit the speakers. I'm connected now. All right, so let's play out. Now, for those of you who know us well, you can see we're Rush fans.
That's an
He's not wearing
that's
anything
an
tonight,
understatement.
Oh, yeah. Well, here.
Yeah, no.
The Rush Shrine behind me. The first tour shirt I ever bought.
Next week
Tonight,
we need
replica by
for the audience that we're going to start gaining now.
They need to get familiar with Rush.
Well, and they need to get familiar with really kind of how we talk, how we became real friends. Like, hey, I can be friends with this guy.
Yeah.
We'll lead off with that story as we're mixing a cocktail next week.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a great one. It really is. And a few of you who have been watching us have heard it before, so it'll be redundant for y'all. But we've had some interesting conversations over the car lot, hadn't we?
That's a sad statement, actually, but yeah.
Which, hey, they just changed names.
Yeah, I saw that. I wonder why. I don't really fucking care. Yeah, that could be. I met him, so
Well, that's what strikes me at first is I got to have my name on that shit. Instead of the brand of the city, I got to have my name on that shit.
Yeah,
That's just my assessment of it. Sorry, Buck.
whatever.
Which version you want to go with? You know what? Wait. I got a special one for you tonight.
Okay, good. There's so many. We do play out. Woo woo! That's loud, baby.
You got it. There you go. This is the R40 version.
Oh!
Scott and I saw R40 together 10 years ago.
God, it's been 10 years.
May 24th.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yep. Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like it was like
10 days from broadcast.
3 years ago?
Oh, dude.
4 years ago?
Well, here. After your heart attack, but before mine.
Yeah.
It was your first real big outing after your heart attack.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, yeah, we went down to Tampa. We got to see him in Amalie Arena, which is about this big around and this tall.
Yeah. Very steep.
And we had nosebleed seats.
But
So,
it's still, I mean,
incredible freaking show. And I'll actually maybe link my YouTube videos because I've got like 4 videos I took that night, including a clip of Xanadu and a clip of the drum solo
oh, which was awesome.
and a clip of Lakeside Park.
Oh, Lakeside Park, one of my favorites.
Well, yeah, it was the 24th of May when we got to see them on that final tour.
Yep.
So what a cool way to finish a run.
That was, and here, you know what's funny is,
What's that?
well, for me, the first concert I ever went to was Rush in 1978,
Hemispheres.
and the last concert that I've been to since was Rush 10 years ago this year.
Xanadu both times.
Yes, I did.
What a fucking song, anyway. If you guys aren't
It's
familiar
my
with it,
favorite. It's my favorite
no
Rush
Olivia
film.
Newton-John version of it. It's Xanadu by Rush. It's on originally the Hemispheres album.
Yeah.
Also, one of the best live versions ever on the Exit Stage Live.
Exit Stage Left.
album, but this is from R40 here. We also use the R50 version occasionally too. But hey, we always play out with Xanadu because it's
All right.
one of the greatest songs ever.
Check us out on all of our social medias.
Facebook at Loquacious Libations, Instagram,
At loquacious_libations.
YouTube at Loquacious Libations, and X at Loquacious Live.
We'll see you all next week.
We'll tell you what Rumble is in a little while.
We'll add that here. He'll edit it in.
I'll edit it in for tomorrow night. You guys have a great evening. We'll see you next week on Wednesday with our Tipsy Tuesday.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.